Hello friends, today I want to talk to you about the U.S. Senate. There are some constitutional reforms I'd like to put into place which I think would rebalance the mechanics of the game and in fact make our government much stronger, much more resilient against populist uprisings, and also would also represent the will of the people at the same time. So I want to tell you about that here today. The framers of the Constitution originally intended for the House of Representatives to be popularly elected to represent the voice of the people. That is why they are called the representatives. And the Senate was meant to be appointed by the states to be representative of their respective state governments. So the Senate was meant to be a body of representatives of the states themselves. But over time, the people didn't like the system because the people that were sent to the Senate were often, it was kind of a corrupted system. And so a lot of states started popularly electing senators in each state. And eventually this caught fire and took over, and we got the 17th Amendment, which was passed by Congress to make popular elections of senators permanent across the board. And while this was nice in terms of making the process of electing senators to office easier, it also created a second populist chamber in Congress. The reason the framers of the constitutions made the senators appointed by the states rather than elected by the people was to create a system of checks and balance to create stability that prevented a sort of populist takeover of the government. The idea was that a 6-year appointment from the states would help bring reason to political discourse and debate in government. There are only 100 senators in the United States, and every single one of them is popularly elected. This is a major problem. The Senate was created to be a stabilizing force against a purely populist government, but instead it is transformed slowly over the years into a weapon of populist rule. If we want to return stability to Congress, we can't just return to the old ways. We need to invent entirely new, completely different sets of rules. And this is what I think we should do. If you want to fix a broken game in Washington, why not send a game designer? Well, these are the mechanical changes that I think we should make. First, we redefine the term length and term limits for all U.S. senators across the board. We change the rules so that senators are elected to serve just one single 10-year term. We keep popular elections, but they serve 10 years, so they have 10 years of stability. Their opinions might change over time, but they're guaranteed that office for 10 years. Also, once elected, they serve their 10 years, and then they can't be reelected to the U.S. Senate for that state under that same office. They'd have to seek a different office in a different state. Second, we increase the number of senators from 100 to 500. So instead of 2 senators per state, we do 10 senators per state. And then third, we elect them on a rotating basis. So for every 2 years, each state holds a popular election to elect 2 senators who will serve the next 10 years. And so you get this overlap of 10-year appointments or 10-year elections. And so as culture changes, right, as we shift and populist opinion changes, the elections might change, but you're going to have the stability kind of carry through. And then since they're all forced to work together, that stability will kind of multiply. So that's the idea. These rules and mechanics will bring stability and reason back to the office of the U.S. Senate. No longer will the senators be beholden to the populist whims of the public, which is how it should be, and they can't be reelected to the same office, so they're harder to corrupt through campaign financing. And then the last thing here, they serve that single 10-year term. So over that time, that 10-year period of time, they're going to grow in experience. Anyways, that's the idea. That's the sensible change. It's very simple, 3 mechanics, 10-year term, single term. We have 50 senators, rotate them every 2 years. Pretty simple stuff. Could be a constitutional amendment, and I think it would completely change the way that our government works for the better. So, God bless. Thank you. To good spirit and good fortune. Take care.